As with keyboard shortcuts, MIDI devices and controllers can enhance your experience with Resolume. By assigning faders, buttons, and even dashboard controls, you can click less and have direct physical access to your favorite controls. We'll show you a general setup using the Akai APC40 MK2 MIDI controller, which should work with similar controllers that have knobs, sliders, and buttons. We recommend having your MIDI controller plugged in prior to launching Resolume. If the controller is plugged in while Resolume is launched, go into the Preferences under the MIDI tab. Click on Refresh to ensure the device is connected. If everything is connected and your controller is listed, we can enable both MIDI input and output. MIDI input enables Resolume to detect signals from our MIDI controller, while MIDI output allows Resolume to relay signals back to our controller. Since Resolume has a few modes for the Akai APC, let's stick with the recommended alternate Ableton Live mode. To start assigning the Resolume interface to MIDI, click on the Shortcuts menu and Edit MIDI. The parts of the Resolume interface highlighted green are where you can assign shortcuts. To assign a shortcut, click on a green part of the interface and press a button on your MIDI controller. The corresponding MIDI note will be displayed and set. We've assigned a pad to the first clip on layer 1. If we exit shortcuts by pressing the escape key, we can press the pad to trigger our clip on layer 1. Let's go back to editing MIDI shortcuts. If your MIDI controller has faders, setting a slider works the same way. Click on the opacity slider of layer 1 and move your desired MIDI fader. Press escape to exit shortcuts and slide the fader up and down. The fader on our MIDI controller now controls the opacity of layer 1. Go to the Shortcuts menu and click on Edit MIDI. Now we'll show how target modes work. Click on the shortcut assigned to the first clip slot on layer 1. In the Shortcuts panel is a target drop-down menu. The default mode for a clip is by position. This means that any time the button assigned to this clip's position is pressed, the specific clip slot will always be triggered, no matter what deck or layer is selected. Let's assign more clip slots with our MIDI controller. Exit shortcut mode. Pressing the buttons on our MIDI controller now trigger the clips in the assigned slots. Notice that even if we swap some of the clips, any content positioned in the assigned clip slots are triggered when we press the buttons on our MIDI controller. Now let's edit MIDI shortcuts again. This time we'll switch the target mode of our first clip on layer 1 to this clip. This clip is a shortcut target mode that assigns a shortcut to this specific clip and only this clip. We'll exit shortcut mode by hitting escape. If we move this clip to another slot, notice that pressing the button assigned to this clip using our MIDI controller still results in the specific clip being triggered. So no matter where we reposition this clip, the MIDI shortcut will always trigger it. Let's go over the last shortcut target mode, selected layer. Edit MIDI shortcuts by pressing Command-Shift-M on Mac or Control-Shift-M on PC. Let's make a new MIDI shortcut for the Clear Layer button on layer 1. We'll assign it to the pad below the first clip on our MIDI controller. Next we'll select all of our shortcuts in the shortcut panel by pressing Command-A or Control-A on the PC. Under Target, let's choose Selected Layer. Now let's show how all of this works. Exit shortcuts by pressing Escape. Triggered clips, layer opacity, and the Clear Layer button only work on layer 1 because this is our currently selected layer. Now select layer 2. As we press the same MIDI shortcuts, notice the same controls now only work on layer 2. The same behavior occurs if we select layer 3 and use our shortcuts. Let's edit MIDI shortcuts and notice that our interface has updated to show the shortcuts are currently on layer 3. This is because of the selected layer mode. It keeps the same shortcuts across layers. Shortcuts can be cleared or deleted by right-clicking on the interface or on the shortcut in the Shortcuts panel. If you would like to save your shortcuts as a preset, you can do so by clicking on the drop-down menu under the Shortcuts panel tab. Click on Save As and name your preset to whatever you'd like. This is especially useful if you have specific configurations for different events.